Hi, my name is Heather Babcock, and this is my debut novel, Filthy Sugar. I'm going to read a little bit from Filthy Sugar. It takes place in the early 1930s, and it is my homage to the women of 1930s Hollywood film. I sit in the window, drinking my whiskey and having memories about dreams. I left word with Brock at the paper this morning, but he still hasn't called on me, and I'm still broke. Luckily, I was able to pawn my earbobs. The pawnbroker could see that they were paste, but he gave me a few coins for them anyway, enough for a bottle of booze. The dark clouds have turned the city blue. The Saturday evening revelers in their rain-soaked tuxedos, velvet orchestra coats, furs and ostrich feathers, pass lightly over the wet concrete, looking as soft and hazy as a Garbo close-up. A lady, dainty and pretty, in a wide-skirted buttercup evening gown, floats out of the merry-go-round doors of Mr. Manchester's apartment building and falls knees first into a rain puddle. A taxi driver jumps from his parked cab to help her up, but she turns away from him, stumbling forward and wrapping her skinny arms around a lamppost. Under the glow of the streetlight, the woman's familiar lemon yellow finger waves and doll-like features blossom into sharp focus. And I follow the gaze of Norma, Mr. Manchester's mistress, as she raises her tear-swollen face. Mr. Manchester's curtains are open. The blood-red sofa, alone in the center of the snow-white room, is as forbidding and menacing as the lips of an evil queen. The apartment's mirrored walls reflect the sins of the city back upon itself. The light in the window suddenly snaps shut, and Norma bows her head as she slouches into a taxicab. I shed my sweat-stained shell-pink robe and switch the overhead light on. A shadow appears at Mr. Manchester's window. Arms stretched above my head, I begin to roll my hips slowly, east and west, north and south, as I wiggle out of my panties. Mr. Manchester's light flicks back on. I pick up my fox fur coat and drape it seductively over my naked body. Turning away from the window, I pull open the middle drawer of my dresser. There, nestled between the leather-bound Bible and Mr. Manchester's stolen portrait, is the copper's gun. I slide the revolver into my coat pocket, stuff my feet into a pair of rain boots, and head out into the turbid, promising night. Miss Whittle, that was quite the show you just gave me. Mr. Manchester's voice booms with mirthful malice as he opens his apartment door. Won't you come in? I must have a nickel around here somewhere, but oh no, that performance was worth at least a dime. Keeping my lips pursed in silence, I step into the winter-white room and lock the door behind me. A foolish grin spreads across Mr. Manchester's face. Sit down, my bad girl, he says, his cheeks flushed with wine. We'll make a loving cup. I don't move from the door as Mr. Manchester, clad in peacock blue silk pajamas, toddles to the kitchen. I really should thank you, Miss Whittle, he calls out over his shoulder as he extracts a bottle from the icebox. Attendance at the Apple Bottom has gone sky high since your boyfriend's little newspaper scribblings came out. Now, my wife, on the other hand, wasn't too thrilled with your stories, he continues, pouring wine into two crystal glasses. But luckily for me, she's a very understanding woman. In particular, she understands how improper and distasteful a divorce would look to her high hat family and friends. How about a toast? He asks, returning to the sitting room. He raises the wine glasses gaily. To burying the hatchet. After all, Miss Whittle, as the papers say, you're still rather fetching, and I wouldn't mind. The snow turns scarlet as the glasses tumble to the carpet. Miss Whittle! Mr. Manchester's mouth drops open like that of a dead sea trout. Come a little closer, Henry, I say. I hold the revolver out like a gangster in a Warner Brothers movie. Be a good boy now.